Welcome to New Stripe City, podcast for diehard Bengals fans. I'm your host, Ace Boogie. It's been a while. It's been a while, man. Been getting situated here in Orlando, but definitely been keeping up with the Bengals. Still getting situated, man. Getting into the, regulars of the new job. Um, so just getting situated, man. And then I've also been busy with my son, who's been teething. He's got four teeth now. But yeah, man, let's talk about some of the past couple of weeks in Who Dat Nation. I know the last time I talked to y'all, it wasn't too good. But since then, the Bengals have picked up 2 wins back to back. We got rid of our offensive coordinator. Uh, had a pretty decent game against the Green Bay Packers, but came up short there at the end. But went on to win 2 games. Obviously, we were supposed to beat the Browns, who beat them. Went on and beat the Bills. Now this is Steelers week. We're coming off of a bye, and just to recap the past 2 games, since I didn't get a chance to, I think that we played pretty good. The Browns game definitely came out and dominated. Wish we would have been able to hold them to 0 touchdowns. But either way, I mean, it's a good win against the Browns, a decisive victory. Vontez Burfict's first game back. Nick Vigil blew that game up. So yeah, like I probably say Andy Dalton definitely has turned the corner so far. I definitely owe him an apology, but we'll see. The verdict is really still out because we got a Steelers game coming up. This is going to be this one in the Jaguars game. These are going to be two tough victories for us. But recapping, like I said, at 2-3, you can't be really too mad. The AFC North is basically still up for grabs. I really wish that the Chiefs would have taken care of business this week, but for some reason they didn't do that. But we're coming in the Steelers week with a chance to basically try to go at the top spot in the AFC North. And what better time now than to play the Steelers now? There's a lot of turmoil going on. If you think Andy Dalton is having a bad year or was having a bad year initially, look at Big Ben's stats, bruh. It's all ugly. And I told my friend who's a Jaguars fan a long time ago, Big Ben be throwing them big picks. And you've seen it all this year. Dude is throwing monster picks out there. But, not just that. Aside from Le'Veon Bell, it seems like the rest of the Steelers are struggling. Their offense is clearly struggling. AB is having temper tantrums with Big Ben on the sideline, throwing all kind of coolers and all. I was loving all of that. But not only that, but you got Martavis Bryant, who's out here requesting a trade. So what better time than to play the Steelers now? And I predicted before the season, and a lot of Steelers fans thought I was crazy. I threw it in the AFC North group, and I said I think that the Steelers are going to implode this year. It's funny because a lot of their fans were saying that they were going to be, I believe it was 12-4. They already have 2 losses on the season. But yeah, this is a game that the Bengals have to win. This is a statement game. This is a game that will really get us back into the run for the playoffs, can really turn this season around, because I honestly think that the Jaguars game is going to be very tough for us. So we'll see what goes on with that. It seems like John Ross could be back for this game. Obviously, in bigger news, Tyler Eifert is done for the season. He won't be able to end up playing. He's on injured reserve, which is kind of, I mean, we know the talent that Tyler Eifert is, but at the same time, he hasn't been able to stay healthy. But during that time, Tyler Kroft has kind of emerged, and I've kind of been a big skeptic of Tyler Kroft, and he's come through. And I have to give props to where it's due. I've been calling out a lot of players, and they've been showing up. So Tyler Kroft is one of them. Andy Dalton's another. Who else? Darquez Denard, he's playing good. Nick Vigil's out there balling. So we'll see what happens. But I think that the Bengals are looking good the last 2 games. We're starting to rely again heavily on AJ, which is a good and bad thing. But hopefully, this week we can get we can get going. You know, John Ross could possibly be back. Brandon LaFell has been solid as usual. Tyler Boyd is hurt. Like the Bengals have a lot of injuries right now at the moment, but not to the point where it's gonna really slow them down during the season. So even with Eifert out, I think Croft can pick up the slack. I also think that Uzoma is back now. He'll do his thing. But the Bengals actually have a free roster spot, so it's going to be interesting to see what they do with it. I don't know who exactly I would pick. A lot of people tend to say Gary Barnidge. I don't know. Like, I think that Barnidge definitely has some talent, but it's just weird to me that he's just been out there as a free agent this entire time, which leads me to believe that there's a reason why he's still out there. But you got him out there. You recently had the 49ers cut Navarro Bowman. And don't get me wrong, like the Bengals defense this year has been legit. Like they are easily the strength of this team. You know, you're talking about second in the league in terms of scoring defense. They're pretty solid against the run after those first two games. Those first two games they kind of got ran on, but, you know, they shut down Shady McCoy, and they've been solid so far. And they've been solid against the pass, too. We get to see William Jackson III out there. Darquez Dennard has done his thing, especially when Dre Kirkpatrick and Pac-Man got hurt last game. And Josh Shaw has stepped up as well. And the last game, what is dude's name? He has the hardest name on the team. Dude that plays safety. You guys know who I'm talking about. Dude had a pick last game. But I think overall, like, the defense is definitely doing his thing. Carl Lawson is out here looking like he could be the defensive rookie of the year. If he puts together more games like he's been doing lately, like, dude is on a tear. Dude is obviously a steal for us. But let me talk about Michael Johnson, too. Michael Johnson, that defensive tackle, has been a huge piece for us on defense this year. Michael Johnson has definitely done his thing. But, yeah, like, as long as this defense plays good, as long as the offense plays how it's supposed to play, Joe Mixon hasn't exploded like we really want him to, but we're starting to kind of see the ideal backfield of Joe Mixon and Giovanni Bernard. Gio still finds a way to make plays no matter what. Those two guys are going to be key in this game coming up. The offensive line, and it's funny because a few weeks ago I released a video saying what the Bengals need to do to fix the season, right? And, you know, I might have been wrong about criticizing some of the players, but some of the things, if you go back and check that video, some of the things that I said that the Bengals needed to do, they've actually done. Number one was firing Zampese. I'm not the biggest Laser fan, but he gets the job done. The second was moving Andre Smith to left tackle. And you see when he's in the game, it's night and day between him and Owehi. So the offensive line has somewhat improved, but they're still not as good, and that has led Joe Mixon struggling. So hopefully this week we can get back on track with that. But, yeah, I mean, I think that the Bengals definitely are headed in the right direction. It's definitely not going to be a lost season, anything like that. Let's just hope that we can finish out the season, hopefully capture this, or at least tie for this first place this weekend. That's going to be crucial, especially with, you know, the Steelers still having to play a couple of tough teams. Now with Aaron Rodgers out, that makes that game a little bit easier for them. So in order for us to stay in this race with the Ravens and the Steelers, because we already know the Browns are out, we're going to have to definitely step it up, make sure we come and get this W this weekend. But as usual, thanks for subscribing, thanks for listening. I heard you guys. I was getting the tags and everything. Sorry for the delay. I'm still trying to get together my set here, figuring out where exactly I'm going to put up my stuff in the new place and everything. But, you know, I'll try to get to you guys this Sunday. It's Steelers week. You guys knew I wasn't going to miss this. Come on now. But, yeah, like I said, make sure you comment, leave me some questions. If you guys have questions, let me know. You can follow me on Twitter at I think it's actually New Stripe City. My bad, not at AMBA. At New Stripe City. And then, of course, you can, you know, comment on the YouTube page. I'll definitely check and respond to whatever questions you guys have. But yeah, just bear with me for a second. But hopefully this weekend, me and G will be reunited again for Steelers week. And as usual, I'll leave you guys with a who day all day, every day, and especially on Sunday.